What's up, hybrids? Welcome back to another episode of the Fandom Hybrid Podcast. This is Hanako, and I am here with Anthony and Mike, and we are discussing the first 3 episodes of the Disney Plus series Echo.
Pissing off all the woke folks everywhere. Like, oh God, why are there so many Indians? We're all the white people to save the day. Oh my God.
First off, Native Americans.
Hey, I was in character. Damn it, leave me alone. I was in my woke busting character.
I know,
Let me
I
be.
know,
I
I
love this
know.
show. I love this fucking show. This was fucking awesome. From the first episode, it's like, oh my God.
From the
Like,
first scene, really.
yeah, from the first scene. Even going back and going, even them like giving us a recap of the last of her and Hawkeye
Mm-hmm.
was actually refreshing too. I was like, oh shit, cool, because it actually gave more of a backstory to it, and I
Mm-hmm.
really like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the origin was phenomenal, was fucking crazy. Oh my God.
Right. Okay, so I have a question about the origin of this is like supposed to be um the first Choctaw peoples, right?
Uh-huh.
So I have a
Yeah, the
question.
first Choctow.
Yeah. The cave that they're in and the blue light that's in the water and everything. Am I supposed to assume that this is something similar to like Cohorty's story
No,
with the space stone, or is this
no,
something completely
That's,
different?
it's completely
that's not the
different.
Okay.
Tesseract.
Okay.
But see, think about it like this. It's like there are a lot of Native American nations, like Mohawk, Choctaw, Creek, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
everybody has, this is just like tribes in Africa. Everybody has their own versions of certain stories. So
Mm-hmm.
this could be their version of that story because it has similarities. It's just like the game Telephone, where you whisper something to somebody and then they whisper it and then it goes all the way back around and it's almost the same story, but it's a little bit different. You see what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that's probably, it could be that this is actually, they're telling the same story, but it's just they switched up. It's been told so many times that stuff's been added, stuff's been taken out. So it's a different story, but it's the same story.
I don't know. It's
Because it's two
because
different
in
tribes.
cohorties, well, not only that, it's just in cohorty, that is something that happened afterwards. This is the actual creation story for the Choctaw. So
Right.
there are
I'm
he is correct. There are similar stories in other tribes where they were created underground and came up to the surface.
Mm-hmm.
But in Cohorty, in that story is the Tesseract did something and they didn't want to go over there. Like that has no relation to the origin of the Mohawk tribe.
Okay.
You know
Okay.
what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that doesn't have
like I said,
anything to do with their origin.
Yeah.
that's what I was saying. I'm not saying that they're necessarily the same story, but there's similarities. There's certain things that are in the story that are in the other story. That's all I
No,
was
no,
saying.
it's not, Mike. No, it's not. It's blue water. That's the only thing that's similar.
Well, I
Fine,
mean, the
blue
But
water
but
that has
but the one in
special
Cohorty has
characteristics.
nothing to do with an origin story. They were already there. Like it's not something that existed before they got there. It was
mm-hmm.
something that came later,
Yeah,
and
I
I
get
see
they
what
that.
you're
warred
saying.
over it.
Yeah.
I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying that I was just saying that certain stories have similarities. That's all I was trying to say.
Yeah. Because that's what
That,
kind of caught my eye with this one, because you have the blue water, you have the
yeah,
magical qualities, which we see kind of carries into the future generations of that tribe. And then you see also like the there's a crater where the water was, which to me would make it seem like there something hit down there. So that's why I was looking at it like, oh, there's some similarities there. So is it supposed to be something, similar as far as the space stone? But if it's
The
not, it's
similarities
cool.
were incidental. They were
Okay.
just incidental.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway,
Like this creation story, the tribe didn't exist. They were
mhm.
underground. They came up to the surface, and now they exist.
Right. Because
Cohorted,
it looked like the people when they were up under the cave, it looked like, so you know, a lot of the like the origin stories for humans and everything is that, you know, in the Bible, you know, God made Adam out of clay. And it kind of looks like that in this particular story. And then of course, when I'm not sure what caused the tremors, there's like an earthquake or something. And the first, what was her name? It wasn't Chula,
Chafa.
because
Chafa.
Chafa, yes, thank you. When Chafa, you know, she kind of holds up the cave so that it doesn't crush her people, and they end up coming up to the surface. And once they come to the surface, their skin starts to harden and crack, and then they become human beings. I was just like, oh, this is interesting. But you know, it was just it was one of those where, like I said, it was very similar. But I like the way that they told this origin story, because this is something that we talked about, I think after Hawkeye. And I think, Anthony, you mentioned something about, oh, was she going to be super powered? And I was like, I don't know. And then of course that's the first thing we see in this show about her people. And I was like, oh, so she is superpowered. But it kind of explains a lot too, because as we get to know her character and what we saw of her in the Hawkeye series, there was really nothing in her background that would have made me believe that she was as powerful as we've seen her in this series. Like, we've seen humans that are, I don't want to say they have the superhuman strength, but like you have your Natashas and you have your Hawkeyes where they've gone through specific training and they've been in battles with other superpowered beings. They've been in battles with aliens. So, and then, you know, there's supposed to be a little bit enhancement, you know, I think from the comics as far as those characters go, maybe not anything of the length of like a Steve Rogers, but there's supposed to be a little bit of enhancement for them. So them being able to do the things that they do makes sense.
there isn't
Watching
no
this
enhancement
show,
for them.
hmm,
They don't have any enhancements.
in the comics, doesn't Natasha have like a little, she doesn't have like some kind of enhancement that was
They've like retconned her character several times where once she had a version of the super soldier serum and another time she doesn't, but no, not
okay.
really.
Okay, but I mean, but the fact the
Yeah.
fact that there is a version of her that has it, that's what I'm talking about when I say
Yeah.
there's like some enhancements. But even without that, like the training that she went through in the Red Room, like she's trained to withstand all kinds of pain. She's trained to like put her body through these different weird, like the stuff we saw her doing Black Widow. You can't tell me that Echo can go and do that, because she hasn't really had any training aside from martial arts training. So it was interesting to kind of get that background of her from Hawkeye and then to see a little bit more of her origin story here. Because, like you, Anthony, I was thinking, what is it about her that makes her able to do all of this? Not just with her being deaf or her being an amputee. The fact that she can do all of that stuff is amazing in and of itself. But some of the stuff we saw her do, I was just like, there is no way. But if you look at the origin story with her people, and you know, we see within the first, I think it was the first episode, that she does have a little bit of enhancement because her ancestors are helping her. I was like, oh, okay, this makes more sense. Because at first I was confused.
Okay, I'm still confused, and I will
Okay.
tell you why I'm confused.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've watched interviews of the people who do this show,
Mm-hmm.
and they are implying that this doesn't have anything to do with what she has already been able to do. Like she just has a prowess for martial arts.
Okay,
Okay.
and I get
And
that.
it's interesting to hear them talk about it, because you know they want to say she doesn't. I mean, I don't really want to spoil it, but we see her people can do that. They have something, but she doesn't discover that until the end, and it doesn't. They make it seem like it doesn't have anything to do with what she's already been able to do, because
But see,
they don't really want to take away from what she's been doing already. They want to say that this was something that was added to her character, because they didn't want to give her the power she has in a comic book, because that's too much like Taskmaster, and we saw how that went. you know, so
don't
I
mention
know
his
Mike.
name on this show.
Why?
You know how he reacts to that. So we're gonna pretend like he didn't mention that name, Mike. Okay, we're gonna retcon.
I didn't say shit. He's
pretend like he didn't mention.
But yeah, he's right. I mean,
so so it makes me confused, because on the one hand, I want to think, oh, okay, well, this kind of explains why she has the prowess, but at the same time, they want to say, well, no, it really doesn't. That she was just already sort of like a savant at martial arts.
Yeah,
because we have someone like Shang-Chi in the comic books is like that. He doesn't have any superpowers. He's just really, really adept at martial arts. And she could be someone who is like that. You understand what I'm saying?
I mean, they kind of showed that when she was a little girl, and in Hawkeye, they showed like how she could instantly see, because that's how she beat that huge kid. That kid was bigger than her, because she peeped out his moves and saw his stance and was like, okay, I can exploit that. That shows a predisposition to being able to fight, just like you said. So they've already established that she's really good at fighting and finding weaknesses and finding a way to exploit them in her opponents. But this is like, I mean, we didn't see the palms of her hands glow in Hawkeye either. So it's like, she didn't really have access. It's like it doesn't seem like she had access to the powers then. So
yeah, but you see it in the within the first 3 episodes of this show, when she gets her prosthetic caught in the train, whatchamacallit. So you see it then, and then it's kind of like, okay, so has this always been in her? Or it's just like I said, it just feels like, and I'm not trying to take anything away from the character, like the fact that she is able to kick ass given what other people would call quote unquote handicaps. She's deaf and she's an amputee. Most people would be like, oh, she's not really going to be able to do much, which I love the fact that she can actually fight and she can hold her own. I mean, she fought against fucking Daredevil in this, in these first 3 episodes, which is amazing in and of itself. But it's just like, I don't know, it just feels a little bit over the top to me, because like even in the scene where she's fighting in the skating rink in the third episode, she takes on what, 20-25 guys, ends up killing the majority of them, and she doesn't even get a scratch on her until the very end of the fight. And I'm like, they've slammed her into pinball machines, they've slammed her into a wall, they slammed her into glass in a claw machine, and she's not getting any bruises, any whatever. I was just like, it's just something a little too over the top.
Yeah, and remember, this is after, because her hand glowed at the train, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So this is after she has activated the powers. So I guess you could say now it's contributing, but prior to that point, it hasn't. And that's sort of what the showrunners kind of imply. That's what the creator of the show kind of implied.
Okay.
So I'm just going based off what they said, because I was like you, I was the same. I was like, oh, okay, well then that explains a lot. And they're like, no, she didn't access those powers until this series.
Right. Okay.
Because you can see the shock on her face when it happened. She was just like, what the fuck? And then she was able to get her foot out. She was like, oh shit. Like, she literally had no idea what the fuck was going on.
Right.
Like, she kind of knew it was from her ancestors, but she was still like, this is new. Like, shit. I still can't hear it, but okay.
Yeah, and we see it in, which was the 3rd episode, the stickball.
Yes.
Intro. Yeah, we see it there too, because she was a pretty good athlete there. And then,
that one was the
stickball was the second.
Yeah,
second
episode.
Yeah, so you saw that she had, she was a pretty good athlete, kicking ass, and then they sent someone in and shifted the balance, and then her powers activated, and they changed. They improved on what she already was.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Because I think the third episode was when we meet Tulak, the
with the Long Riders. That's
yes.
Choctow.
okay. The light was it light riders?
Yeah,
Whatever.
Light Riders. Yes.
Or
I
light
don't think that's
horsemen.
the right
Light
term. I
horsemen.
think it's like light horse riders or
light
something like that.
horsemen. Yeah.
Light horsemen, yes, that's it.
Yeah.
But
where they
yeah.
where they got ambushed and she saved them. Even though
Mm-hmm.
like, you're a girl, you can't come with us. Me. I was like,
Okay.
when are y'all gonna learn?
No,
It's like,
that
do y'all
wasn't
not know
necessary.
that?
No. He was like, no, you're a life giver. Men are life takers.
It
Yes,
basically
you're
the
a
same
girl.
thing.
You need to stay with the other girl.
Same
That's exactly
thing.
what he said.
Which I was like, why would you even allow her to train and to learn how to shoot and do all of these things if you're not going to let her be a protector? Like, what was the point? When is she
Especially
going
if
to do?
she's better. She was better than most of the guys that he had with him anyway.
She was
I'm
better.
like,
She was the one who saved their asses. But okay,
yes.
let's put a little structure on this discussion. Let's talk about Maya Lopez to start off with. So Maya Lopez, we see the origins of her story in this particular episode, and we also get a little bit of the follow-up from her time that we saw her on Hawkeye. So Maya Lopez is this little girl. She's a deaf child, grows up with a loving family by all accounts. She's got her parents, her grandmother's husband at the time, which I don't know if he was actually her grandfather.
For some reason, I think they were just dating. I don't think that was her husband. I think that was just because that's not Maya's mom's dad.
Okay. So that's what I was wondering. But they were together. She had this cousin, Bonnie, who she was very close with. And so you see them just having a normal family time. And they come in because it's raining and Maya wants hot chocolate. Her mom is like, okay, well, we don't have any, but we can go to the store. You can come with me, help me choose which kind to get. Now, as they're driving, first, her mother and the boyfriend, whatever he is, that when they're leaving the house, they see this very beautiful bird. I didn't look up what type of
woodpecker.
bird it was. Oh, was that a woodpecker?
It was a woodpecker or
okay.
a sapsucker.
Oh, okay. So they see the woodpecker, and you see Chula, her mother. She's kind of unsettled after she sees this, and the boyfriend is making jokes at her. He was like, so are your ancestors whispering in your ear? Why don't you tell them to give you some Powerball numbers? He's being silly, but she's worried. And at the same time, Maya and her mother are on the road. They're going to the store. They're just having a little bit of conversation. Her mother is also deaf, by the way.
I mean, he had to do something. It's like, this is one of those things where you feel. I mean, he probably felt so powerless, and he was like, and he just lost his wife, and his daughter lost a leg, like, for someone coming after him. So it's like, I'm surprised. I'm not surprised he did that at all. I'm like,
oh yeah, survivor's guilt is a bitch. Yeah,
it's an entire bitch. But it's like, shout out to baby Maya for having an incredible tolerance for pain. Because she wasn't even crying with that piece of shard of glass going through her leg. She was
probably already. That thing was probably her nerves in that leg were probably already dead. She probably didn't feel it.
I was like, because when I first watched it, I was like, oh, my leg instantly started jerking. I was like,
mine, yes, Yep.
But yeah, it's like after that, but that whole scene was so heartbreaking. Like, with her, she's like, she was apologizing, then she was like, can I speak to my mom? And I was like,
yeah, because you know how traumatic that had to be, because she knew her mom was dead when they were in the car. Like, she looked over at her, she actually reached over to feel for a pulse, and when she didn't get one, she started crying in the car. But I guess she probably blacked out, and then of course she had her surgery, so she probably didn't even remember any of that. But as far as that scene goes, like, her father tells her, he was like, Henry found me a job. And she was like, what, in New York? And he was like, isn't that far enough away for you? She was like, no, it's not.
Nope.
I will say this.
Damn.
For the first 3 episodes, what we see of Maya's family dynamic and everything, I understand she was upset about losing her daughter, but Chula's character really pissed me off in this show. Because you're upset because you lost your daughter, and you basically tell her husband he needs to leave because you don't want his trouble, you don't want his business, whatever. You literally cut off all contact with your granddaughter, the one who just lost her own mother, because of how you feel about the father. You send them both away to New York, and then it's 20 years before Maya even comes back home. You haven't reached out to this child, not even just to say, hey, I'm thinking about you. Are you okay? You have such qualms with her father and what he does, but you don't give a fuck enough about your granddaughter to say, okay, you know what? You go to New York and you deal with your criminal activities and whatever business. I'm going to keep her here and keep her safe. When I tell you, this woman pissed me off. And this is just the first 3 episodes. This is not even the back half. I was so mad. Because even when Maya comes back to town and she finds out that Maya is in town, Maya purposefully doesn't contact any of her family. I think the only reason why they even knew was because her cousin Biscuits came to the house to check, and she
My
was
motherfucking
there.
Biscuits.
I love him.
My motherfucking Biscuits. I love
But
that dude.
aside from
Hold up.
Henry, and Uncle Henry probably wouldn't have said anything to Chula, because I'm sure if Chula didn't like his brother, she probably doesn't have any dealings with him either. So once Maya made herself known to him, he wouldn't have said anything. Remember, Chula came to the skating rink, was like, so I hear Maya's in town. But when I tell you.
All right. Okay. So I don't condone her actions, but I understand. So okay, hold on. I mean, at first, like, she's already been through losing her daughter, her granddaughter getting maimed, and you find her, and it's like finding out all that, and then dealing with her thuggish ass son-in-law that she didn't even want her daughter marrying in the first place. So she's like, then they leave with that color purplish exit with Maya signing Bonnie and Bonnie going after, like, we go to
Wow.
I was like, oh, come on.
Wow.
I was like, man,
I mean,
really?
yeah,
But it's like she had to deal with that too. So it's like, I don't condone it. She should have reached out, and that's fine. But once Maya got older, it's like, and she still did reach out. She's probably like, oh, it's too late now. She probably doesn't even remember me. So she just went on with her life. Or she's like, she probably fell in with her father, and I want no dealings with any of that shit.
But again, if you, I'm sorry, there is no excuse to me for that. Regardless, I know you're in grief. I know you have trauma. Your daughter died and everything. This was this little girl's mother. She was in the car with her mother when her mother died. Not only that, like you said, Mike, she was maimed in this accident. You don't see any interaction between Chula and Maya until, actually, you don't see any interaction between Chula and Maya at all in these first 3 episodes.
Nope.
None. Even in the first episode, when they were there all sitting by the fire, the girls were playing in the tent. You never see Chula show any type of anything towards Maya in these first 3 episodes. I have a problem with that. A huge problem with that.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, it's like, I mean, old folks are stubborn. It's like, and she should have taken better care of her granddaughter. I completely agree.
That's an understatement.
Right.
Old
And then
folks
for
were
everybody
stubborn.
to tell Maya,
Old folks aren't stubborn. that is a blanket statement, and I'll stand by it.
Mhm.
Old folks are stubborn. They're
Yeah.
set in their ways. If
Mhm.
they see something that they don't like, they don't like it, and it's really hard to get them out from. Hey, make them stop believing what they believe is wrong.
And
It
you're
takes a lot
exactly
of work.
right, Mike. You're
Am I right?
exactly right. You're right, Mike.
Oh
You're
Lord.
right.
Yes,
Why does that sound
I am a stubborn
sarcastic?
old person. I am set in my ways about this, about what I just said too. You're exactly right. See, you thought you were being smart. I knew exactly what you were doing. You ain't slick. You ain't slick, boy. I know what you're doing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You ain't that much younger than me. So shit.
Yes, sir.
Whatever. Whatever. Anyway, that's what I'm saying. So, I mean, it's just hard to for some people, especially with something as tragic as that, to get them to see something different. It's like everything is harder for. I agree, it's not right, but that's just the way it is.
Yeah. And then I honestly feel like if you want to be mad about your granddaughter turning into her father or following in the footsteps of her father, that's part of your fault. It's part of your
Yeah.
fault.
Mhm.
Because if you really wanted her to not be a part of that world and not grow up with that influence, you should have stepped your ass in and did something. At least reached out to her to let her know that you were still there. But also the fact that when Maya comes back, everybody is like, oh, why don't you go see your grandma? Why don't you go talk to your grandma? Y'all are the people who know. Grandma was the one who was like, yeah, y'all get the hell from over here, and I don't want to have anything to do with y'all. Why are y'all telling Maya that she, like, I understand everybody has this whole, oh, be the bigger person thing. I don't fall in line with that philosophy in a lot of cases, because what you're doing is you're putting the responsibility on somebody whose responsibility it shouldn't have been. You know, Chula was the adult in that situation. She was the one who should have done more to make sure that her granddaughter didn't turn out like her dad.
Yeah.
That's completely on her. And then the fact that she's
Yeah,
going
but
around to
she
people talking about, oh, make sure Maya does her business and then she gets back out of town. Bonnie doesn't need to know she's here. She's going to be a bad influence on Biscuits. He doesn't. Bitch. I mean, literally, I was sitting here looking at the show like she made me so mad. What you
You
trying to
ain't
say?
wrong.
Might look like he want to say so.
but I agree that she should have, if she thought that she was going to fall in with the things that her father was doing, maybe she should have. But I mean, what was she going to do? She wasn't going to go there and kidnap her. She couldn't go and steal Maya.
No, but you know
She
what?
didn't
The
talk to
kids,
her.
yeah, she could even just reached out to her. You know what I'm saying? Sent her
Yeah,
letters, sent her emails. I mean, Bonnie was emailing and texting her for 20 years. But
yeah,
if can't imagine as a 7-year-old little girl, you lose your mom, you lose your leg, and then you have to move from Oklahoma to New York. And the one other influential grown up in your life cuts off contact. The way that she was in the hospital when she told her dad, she was like, will you tell mom I'm sorry? It was my fault. I was the one who made her go to the grocery store to get the hot chocolate. She, as a 7-year-old girl, probably felt like her grandmother was blaming her. And that's why she stayed away from her. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
You could have done something to
yeah.
reassure that little girl that this was not her fault.
Mm-hmm.
So
You're
yeah,
absolutely right.
no, Chilla pissed me off in these first 3 episodes. I
Yeah,
was like, you are a trash person. I'm Why
yeah,
are you laughing, Anthony? She's a trash person.
Yeah,
She's a trash
yeah,
person. Even
yeah.
look, even
When when it comes to families, emotions is hard. It's tough. And
yeah.
yeah,
Emotions cause
and
damage. Yes.
yeah, emotional damage, you know.
So,
And
thank you. That's all I'm saying. It's like
yeah,
you can't.
and
Go ahead.
Maya is right for feeling the way that she does. About it. She don't have to tell nobody she's there.
right.
I mean, just speaking from experience, it's very easy when your emotions get involved, especially when it comes to family, where you can go home and you not tell anyone you're there.
Mm-hmm.
I went home a lot of times from college and didn't tell anybody I was there.
Mm-hmm.
Even after college, I would go visit my mom and that's it. I wouldn't. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't want no one else to know I was there.
Yeah.
It, Sometimes if feelings, emotions makes us irrational, and Maya is. You're right. It's not her responsibility to keep in contact with her grandmother, but it's definitely her grandmother's responsibility. Like
Mm-hmm.
she was the one that forced him to leave and take her with. She should have made Maya aware that no, this is not your fault.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
you're right.
And,
I mean, I don't disagree with you. It's
yeah.
just I completely agree with you.
And then on the other side of that, with Maya, okay, I understand her being upset with her grandmother, not wanting to go see her grandmother, but also the way that she treats her other family members, because obviously she has some kind of connection with her Uncle Henry. She may not have seen him in all these years, but like I'm sure her dad still kept in touch with him because both of them worked for Fisk. So there had to be some kind of contact. Bonnie reached out to her, and Bonnie said it. I reached out to you for years, texts,
Yeah,
emails,
she
you
wrong
never
for how she
respond.
treated Bonnie. She's wrong for that.
And
She
also for Biscuit, like Biscuit was so excited to see her, and she's looking at him like, whatever. I was just like, and again, for her, I have to think about the way that she was
No,
raised. You know, she
she
was
took
raised
it.
around
She
Fisk.
straight took no, she straight took advantage of Biscuits. I don't even think that she don't. I don't even think she really remembered Biscuits. It's like she's like, "Oh, you're my cousin. Okay, cool. You got a truck. All right, cool. How fast can you drive? Okay, cool. Can you keep it? Can you keep it straight? All right,
No,
cool.
I don't want to say she doesn't remember Biscuits, because in that first
She
scene
definitely took
where
advantage
they're
of
at
it
the
though.
house, they mention Chula mentions Biscuits. I guess he was at home sick and he couldn't make it. So she was like, "Oh, Biscuits is gonna hate that he missed hanging out with the girls." So I don't think it's that. But when you haven't seen family in 20 years, and let's be honest, she does sort of look the same, because Biscuits was like, "Wow, you haven't changed at all." That's because the little girl who plays young Maya is Alako Cox's cousin, her real cousin. So there
Mm.
is that that similarity. But just, it's like, if you didn't want people to know that you were there, and if you didn't want people to be asking about you or whatever, don't take your ass home. And I understand she was home because she was trying to sabotage Fisk's business. And her Uncle Henry was probably the easiest way for her to be able to do that, which we kind of see, because she's like, oh, okay. So she's scoping around. Her dad told her she would have to learn to pay attention to things. And we see that's what she does. She gets a little bit of information from Uncle Henry. He takes her to this water tower where she can see all kinds of things, and she sees the business that he runs for Fisk. And she starts looking, oh, okay. So this is okay. This is where that train is going to be from. Oh, that's the train car number. And this is like, she peeps what she's supposed to be doing. But it's like, if you don't want people to know that you're there and you don't want people to bother you, don't go home. Especially if you know people are looking for you because you shot the fucking Kingpin. These
well,
people,
Yeah,
what's going
how
to be
she
the
about
has
first thing
shit to
this?
they
do though.
do?
How about this? Think about this. In these first three episodes, well, at least the first two,
Mm-hmm.
she's still the villain. She's still a bad guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Like
definitely. Yeah.
no, I'm serious. Like Biscuits is only useful to her because he serves a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And think about what she's been doing. She's a murderer. Like she's a killer. She's a trained killer.
Yeah.
Kingpin
Yeah.
says, "I need that person dead." Okay, and she goes and kills him.
Yep.
I need my money from this person. Can you give my money? She
Yeah.
goes the money. She is a bad guy. So what do you expect from her? You know what I mean? At
I
this
know.
point in the story, what do you
Right.
expect from her? She doesn't really, she shot a man in the head,
Mm-hmm.
you know. She tried her best to kill Hawkeye.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
damn near did it.
almost did it.
Yeah.
He was dead to rights. If what's name hadn't been there, he was done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, he was gonna let her do it. He didn't have to, but whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going through all this shit. Hawkeye was going through a lot at that point. He
He
was going
was.
through it.
He was. But it's like these people are after you. What makes you think they're not gonna come to your home?
I
Especially
don't think
if
she didn't care. She didn't care
well,
because
see,
her
that's
mentality
that's
is
the thing. I don't think she didn't care because I think that's one of the reasons why she probably didn't want people to know that she was there because she was like, I'm here for business, in and out. Nobody needs to know I'm here. Because at least that way, if they come looking for her, they can be like, we ain't seen her in 20 years. What are you talking about?
Right.
Like, she don't come here.
yeah, but that
They
was a
could have,
miscalculation she made. She didn't
right.
realize that they would know they know where you're from.
Mm-hmm.
They know that this train came from there.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Duh. They could put two and two together.
And not only that, your uncle owns the company or, is the head of the company
Yeah,
where that train
he's
shipped
running
out
that shit.
from.
Yeah, he's
Mhm.
winning shit. So
And then not only that, you should have known Fitz was gonna have people everywhere. I mean, the fact that Vicky was working
That son
in
of I was like,
was
you
working in
snitching.
Henry's skating rink, and he was the one who called and turned her in. She just, I don't think for someone who is as smart as she seems when we first meet her and going through the stuff that she does, she was not making good decisions there. And I don't know how long after her dad was murdered that all of this takes place, but she clearly wasn't thinking. You know
she's
what I'm
impulsive.
saying?
She's extremely impulsive. And what do we always talk about, Hanako? Always talk about.
I know.
How old was she when she had her trauma?
Yeah. Seven,
And
seven,
she
I
is
think. Yeah.
stuck
Yeah.
emotionally at that age. And what do kids do when things happen to them? They lash out.
Yeah.
And she's stuck.
Yeah.
As a 7-year-old emotionally. Yeah.
And then at 20, what is 27 as well, because she literally saw her dad get killed.
Yeah.
She saw Ronan drive that sword through him. So yeah, I understand, but it's just like she was not making good decisions. And then also we know that people were chasing her all the way home because right before she gets to Oklahoma, we see her stop and she has a bullet wound that she tries to sew up with fucking dental floss. I was like, when she pulled up
I
that
mean, you
shirt
gotta do what you gotta do.
and you saw the dental floss and you saw like the pus and stuff coming out, I was like, this is just gross.
I mean, you
But
gotta do what you gotta do. I applaud her because I would just been dead by sepsis. Like I ain't sewing that shit up. I'm just gonna you just cut all that out right there. Just take
You,
all that. That's just fat anyway. I
you
don't
just
care. That's fine. You can take all that. I
you're
don't
just
give a
gonna
fuck.
bleed out.
I'll be fine. I'll be fine. But then it's like she's loose. She's lost blood. She gets back on her motorcycle and damn near crashes.
mm-hmm.
It's like we almost had the shortest Disney Plus Marvel series ever. Like she went weaved and got hit by the car. Roll credits. God damn it. Okay. Hey, how long to Ironheart? It's like, but I'm like, yeah, but I mean, she makes it. She does her own little private surgery. I'm like, I can't even bite off. I have a hangnail that I don't want to bite off because I'm afraid it'll hurt so much. I'm not gonna be able to sew myself up like that. Like I'm over here trying to bite this hangnail. I'm like,
Yo,
that's not.
wuss.
Hey, look, I'm old enough to be comfortable in my wussness. So y'all, you can call me wuss all you want to. I am comfortable in it.
Right, right.
Oh, shout out to Alakwa Cox's cousin for still having those big ass pitchable cheeks. Like when Kingpin pitched her cheek in there,
That
it
is
looked like
a cute little girl.
it looked like her cheeks were fuller than they were in Hawkeye. It's
Right,
like because he grabbed like that much, like he was just like
right.
And I was like,
squishy. I want one. I want one just like
she was
it.
so squishy. I was like,
Right.
oh my God, she's so adorable.
Speaking of the Kingpin, let's talk about him for a little bit. Because we
We
know
can't
that he
talk about
has
much. We're
like,
only talking about the first 3 episodes, so we can't really talk about that much.
we can talk about him enough.
He's in the flashback.
Yeah,
Right.
because you know, we see him, the first time we see him is when she is in the, you know, karate class, or she's waiting to go to karate class, and we see them kind of interact. And there's already a familiarity between them because, like you said, he goes to pinch her cheek and she kind of smiles at him like she's very familiar with who this person is.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's
And
already uncle. Yeah.
yeah. And the other thing too is if you notice the conversation she has with her dad, even at that young age, she's telling her dad, I want to do what you do. So she obviously knows what kind of work her dad is into, which means she's probably seen Fisk quite a bit. I mean, he's there at her karate class. Why would he be there? You know what I'm saying? He would have no reason to be there. So obviously that's meant to establish this kind of bond between them. Then after her dad dies, what does she do? She breaks into a motorcycle store. She rigs the motorcycle to drive by itself into a police car. This is already, now they're surrounding her because she's broken into the shop and the alarm is going off. The motorcycle flies into the police car and they get ready to arrest her. And we see Kingpin kind of pull up, see him go over there. One of the cops gets ready, says, "Sir, you can't go." And the other cop says, "Excuse me,
was like,
do you not know who that is?" Like, dude, I'm trying to keep you from getting your ass killed. You don't go to him. You don't approach him. You don't talk to him. Just step out the way. And when he walks up to the police officers who, you know, have her on the car, and he pulls one of them off of her. He grabs her arm. She turns around. She sees him. She's like, "Oh." And it's like immediately she knew, "Oh, I'm not in trouble." And she walks off with him. I was like, yeah, this is the start of her bad influence.
3 words. Like a boss.
Right.
Like, I mean, it's like he literally walked over there and she was like, "Oh, hey." He was like, "Come on." And she just walked by. Everybody's just like, "All right, see you later."
He didn't even have to say, "Come on." He just basically gave her this look like, "Come on, let's go." And she was like, "Yeah, y'all can't touch me now." But then, you know, while they're in the car, he's talking to her and he's through the use of a translator, he's telling her that, you know, "I understand your rage. I had the same thing. My dad died when I was 12. And, you know, what did he say? I haven't felt that level of rage before or since." And he was like, "Let me help you put that rage to good use." And she was like, "How?" He was like, "Come work for me. Come do a job." And this is the start into her criminal career. Because like you mentioned, Anthony, he sends her on these jobs, and the first job that she goes on, she's with these 2 guys and they're going to, I guess, collect some money, supposed to be. And they go in and they immediately start fighting. Now, first off, these 2 thugs that they have her with, the first guy, why does he just like, he was really over the top, diving into the door and knocking down the door and sliding and go. I was like, this dude has watched one too many action movies.
That was so extra.
It was
unnecessary. And unnecessary.
So extra.
Oh, okay, but we gotta go back and talk about the fucking handsy ass security guard. Like, looking turn around, he's like, "Yeah, let me frisk you," and she was having none of it. None. I was like, "Good, break his fucking arm." I was like,
and then he had the nerve to come into the fight, and she was like, "Oh, you again?"
Like, yeah. He's like, "I'm about to beat your ass."
Yeah, because he really thought he was about to, you know, he was like, "Oh, I can come in here and fight now," because she threw him up against the wall when he tried frisking her and ended up, you know, he was feeling on her instead. He really thought he was about to whoop her. And yeah, she got her killing on that day. Because at first when she's coming in, you know, they shoot one guy and then they shoot another. She's looking around like, is this what I'm gonna have to do? And that one guy who came and pushed her out and was trying to strangle her, and they got to fighting, and she had him by the back. And then all of a sudden she cracked his back. It's like she cracked his back and he died. And you saw a whole change come over her face. And she was like,
Yo,
oh.
the sound design at that moment where you hear two heartbeats and then she breaks his neck and it's just one and her heartbeat calms down and she's like, oh, that was easy.
Mm-hmm.
Next.
Because I mean, like I
that
said, the
shit's
look on
crazy.
her face, it was just like, oh, okay, this is what this is. And then here comes Daredevil.
I was surprised they did this like right off the bat. It's like I thought like his cameo would be something that they did later on in the show, but they were like, no, let's go
Right.
ahead. I know
I think
y'all are waiting on it.
they wanted to show how good she was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean that shit. Ooh, that was
But I'm
actually
like,
almost
he is showing up everywhere. He was what in Spider-Man. He showed up in She-Hulk, and now he's in this one. I was like, okay. So, and I think right around the time that these episodes aired was when they decided they're bringing over all the Netflix stuff to Disney Plus. So I think it's still on Disney Plus now. So if y'all want some background on those stories, go look. But yeah, he came in and they started fighting, and I was like, okay, well, I'm clearly I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, she's about to get her ass kicked, because I haven't watched the Daredevil show except for like I think I watched the first maybe 3 or 4 episodes. But I also, like I said, I saw him in She-Hulk. I know what kind of skills this dude has. And then everybody, I don't care if you watch the show or not, I think everybody has seen that one-shot fight scene that they put on YouTube from the Daredevil show. So you know he
The
has
hallway.
skills. Yes. So you know he has skills. So I was like, oh, she about to get her ass whooped. And she actually held her own with him. I was like, oh, this is when I started wondering whether or not the powers from the ancestors were helping her, because I was like, there is no way she can hold her own with Daredevil. But she did.
she's a
I was
badass.
impressed.
I mean,
Kingpin was even impressed. He was like, none of my men
no
have
one else has been able
ever.
to hang with him like that. I'm very
None.
impressed.
And then he was like, so did you find the job helpful? She was like, immensely. He's like, okay. And then we start seeing the little montage of her going out on jobs. And like you said, Anthony, she becomes a killing machine. He's like, oh, I need you to go take care of this person. She does it. And she's very cold when you see her in those scenes. Like, no conscience about it, doesn't care about it. I was just like, oh, okay. That's kind of, I don't know. I guess like the perfect killing machine. But then they show the scenes from the Hawkeye series where she finds out that Ronan, aka Hawkeye, was the one who killed her dad, and he's the one that tells her, your boss is the one who wanted your dad dead. Your boss meaning Uncle Wilson, Uncle Fisk. And she's like, no, you're lying. He was like, no, your boss wanted your dad dead. And then we see the aftermath of that particular show, because one of the last things we see of her character in the Hawkeye series is where she shoots Fisk. And so you actually see that in this series as well. They show you that flashback. So this is why she's on the run, because she done shot the Kingpin. Now I'm gonna say this.
Wait. Before we move on, I have questions.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't talk about Hawkeye, did we?
Yes,
we
we
do
did.
Hawkeye?
Yes.
Okay.
But that was like almost 3 years ago, because I think Hawkeye was at the end of 21.
Yeah, it'll be 3 years this year.
I have issues like, yeah, she held her own against Daredevil, but like, did it seem like Clint kicked her ass? And I don't think Hawkeye and Daredevil are on the same level.
Because I was trying to think, no, because the Daredevil fight would have been first.
Yeah,
she was her own with Clint too, but I think
Maya
Clint got the upper hand.
But when Clint's Ronin, he's different. Like that's a different person. Like
because
even that.
he also is fighting without a conscience at that point. I think with when he's in the Ronin character.
I'm gonna have to do some research on this later.
Yeah. But yeah, because I think
as a regular person, Hawkeye is not on Daredevil's level. But if he's like being Ronin, then that's closer. Then they're closer in terms of fighting and of how they fight. So
yeah,
I would think that'll be it.
because I think because when he's Hawkeye, he's in Avenger mode. You know what I'm saying? He's being a hero. He's supposed to be helping people, saving people. When he was Ronin, he was in that angry stage. He was in that vigilante stage because he was pissed off because his whole family had been snapped. Half of his teammates had been snapped. He was just angry and he was going around killing all the villains because he was like, why are you still here and good people disappeared? So yeah, I think if those two had come head to head at that time, Ronin and Daredevil, yeah, he may have given Daredevil a run for his money because at that point, Clint had no fucks to give. He was like, "Oh, okay, you coming after me? All right, I'm just gonna kill you and walk away and be done with it." He really didn't have a conscience back then, you know. And I think I feel like the only way that he kind of at that point changed when he was talking to Maya is because he understood what she was going through. What is it that he said? People can take your pain and they can take your anger and they can use it to manipulate you. And that's exactly what Fisk did with her. He was like, "Oh, you're angry? So yeah, let me get you to do my dirty work." But also this was to keep her off of the trail of the person who really killed her dad, which was him. You know? But that fight with Daredevil. And also, too, I feel like, yes, she held her own with him, but also I think, I don't know, because I was kind of surprised that he disappeared in the midst of their fight. I mean, I realized that she had gotten behind that cage and kind of locked herself in, but I just, I don't know. Did you guys find it weird that he just kind of pulled back and disappeared from the fight?
No,
No,
because I think that I mean she had basically ruined everything. So it's like he really didn't have any other intel to give, and he was just wasting time with somebody who was giving him more of a fight than he thought was going to give he was going to get. And he
Okay.
was like, well, this is going to be like I'm not going to get the upper hand in this, so I'm just going to leave. He's not like he could just beat her ass, knock her out, and go around and scavenge and get intel. He could see that she was not going to be an easy out, so he was like, "I'll just come back later. Fuck it."
Okay. Okay. Because I was just like, where did he go? Like it was just so sudden because at one moment they're like going back and forth, trading blows, trading hits with like different weapons, and she had found the weapon stash and she was like trying to get to him, and then all of a sudden he was just poof. I was like, what? Where did he go? So yeah, okay. But
Yeah, even though it's just bulletproof, he wasn't trying to get shot like that. It's like, yeah.
well,
I
yeah.
mean, she's like, you mean she almost got him with like a fucking shotgun blast when he jumped over the fence, and then
Oh
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
so he was like, "Oh, you're not playing. Okay, let me pull this shelf down to get out of here." Then he
Okay.
pulled that shelf down, got the fuck out. She spun around with a fucking shotgun, getting ready to blast his ass, and he was gone. So
Okay.
he was like, "All right, cool, that's fine. I'll go. I'll be back later."
Well, he wasn't back in any of these first three episodes, so but
he
okay,
had
It was
better
good.
things to do.
probably.
Exactly. He was like, hey, it's like not like he could call Jessica for backup. It's like she ain't gonna get there in time. So it's like, what's he gonna do?
Yeah,
Nah,
it's like Mike said. He had already the whole whatever was going on was done and over,
mm-hmm.
and everybody was basically dead except her. So he dipped out.
Yeah. Because the other two guys she went in with also died, didn't they?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he was like, well, "Why am I still here?"
Okay. Okay.
But I'm fighting, get my ass beat by a girl. Didn't even know she was deaf. Just know that okay, it's a girl. She's beating my ass with a metal leg. And that
Right,
that
because he just
that move that she did, where she held that leg up and just spun around and was like, "Boink!"
it was so clean and so precise because it's
It was
like
ballet like. I
she's
was like, "Oh,
yes. It's like
that
she
dude was
stood in that
fire."
pose for a minute and then kicked him. I was like, let me rewind that and watch that again. It
That
was
shit
so
was that shit was
clean.
crazy.
And then when he hit her with his little cane thing and you hear the click and you heard the clank, he was just looking like, what the like, oh, okay. So I'm at a little bit of a disadvantage because you can't really hurt her in that leg, and she can do all kinds of damage, as you saw what she was doing to the men that was in that cage.
Right.
And then also later on in the skating rink, I was like, all of y'all died very painful deaths. The ones
She
that didn't get
pushed dude
shot,
through a fucking wall. Like, how the fuck did she push dude through a damn wall? I was like, even when I saw it, because I saw that part in the aftermath and the previews, I was like, she pushed him through a wall and surfboarded his ass across the skating rink. Like, how the hell? Then it's like they show me how it happened, and I'm still like,
how in
how?
the
It's freaking drywall. It's no big deal. I threw my
I
cousin
guess.
through drywall. It's not that big of a deal.
Uh,
Okay, you're gonna have to tell us that story one of these days.
right? Exactly.
Well,
Yeah,
he didn't actually
that's
go
kind of
through it. We put a really big hole in it where his back was.
But
But
you didn't push him through it and then skateboard him. Yeah,
no, it was a
surfboard
small
him.
hallway, so I can only get so much momentum. And and Sherrod, if you're listening, it was your fault. It wasn't my fault.
Oh my god.
It was a small
So,
hallway. It was
yeah, I
three,
got you.
4 feet, four
You could have
feet, maybe
pinballed him. You could
max.
have been just bounced your way down the hall.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
my dad was so upset.
Oh, I'm
But
sure.
yeah, you put a hole in the wall. What do you think he's gonna be like? Oh, it's okay.
Right.
It had to be about, I don't know,
Oh my
2 by 2, maybe 3. It was pretty big.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, I was yeah, if we had more room and more momentum, he probably would have gone through both walls. Cause you know how drywall is in the
So
house.
how long were you grounded for?
Um, we'll save that story for another time.
Did he make you fix the wall? Did you have to redraw the wall?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, my dad did.
I thought you did. You'd make you do that shit. I'm like, no.
No, I think what was I? 15, maybe
Yeah,
14.
you perfect
15.
age to learn.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Oh no,
That
I
drywall.
did it.
Get that
I
spackle. Get over here.
trust me. I had to do other things.
Mm-hmm.
That was not one of them.
Yeah,
Okay.
but that whole that roller rink sequence was just like some of it. I was just like, okay, Maya made a fucking sling gun out of a skate and some
Okay.
ball bearings.
So let's
I was
let's talk about let's talk about this girl and her MacGyver skills.
like, is she parking part Rocket Raccoon? I'm like, how the hell did you put that shit together
And let's even
with a
go
with a
let's
laser
go
scope? I'm like,
before
where'd the laser scope come? Where'd you get a laser from?
let's go even before the skating rink. We got to talk about the train
Oh,
because she did this. First of all, Scully, Grandpa Scully, owns a pawn shop.
Scully's that dude.
She sends Biscuits to go get supplies for her. And he was like, you know, all of this stuff is militia grade stuff. What are you doing with militia grade stuff in a pawn shop, Scully? That's the first question. That's the
Scully
first
reminds me
question.
of he reminded me of George Lopez's character in Blue Beetle. I was like, those two gotta be brothers. Like, they have to be related.
Right.
They are the same.
Because when Biscuits is getting all the stuff, he has like a camera.
The
And he
spy
tells
camera.
Biscuits, he was like, oh, I got a better camera than that. He's like, no, I need a smaller camera. Like this? No, I need a smaller camera. Like this? No, I need a smaller camera. And he pulls out one of the ones that's like, looks like the little snake. He was like, yeah, that's perfect. Scully's looking at him like, what the fuck are you about to do?
Yeah, but why do you have it, old man?
You be asked too many questions. Don't be
Right.
you ask too much.
But she
Don't
uses
worry
these
about it.
things, like you said, she does take great advantage of Biscuits. She was like, hey, can we go for a ride? So she has him drive her to this bridge, and she's got on this gear and she's got a backpack. And she was like, okay, she's telling him all the things he's got to do. Okay, give me your phone. Okay, here's the tracker. I need you to follow this tracker. And he was like, what is it going to be tracking? She was like, me. She gets up on the bridge and she drops down. He has no fucking clue what she's about to do. So the fact that she just threw herself off the bridge, he's like, what? She literally, there's a train going up under the bridge. She drops down on the train. She starts doing all this running and all this spy shit. I was like, wait a minute. So when has she ever had to do any of this in New York? Please tell me. Because I don't care how athletic you are. I don't care how skilled you are. Running on top of a moving train, that takes a whole different set of skills because one, you're working with the speed. Two, you're working against the air. Three, right. You got armed guards on this thing. And yet she is bypassing all of this. She is jumping from train car to train car with nobody seeing her. She's climbing on the bottom of the train long enough to drill a hole in the car, put the camera through, and find out what she's looking for. I was like, again, it's like, she's superpowered. Have her, at this point, she was doing stuff that I was not expecting her character to be able to do. And I'm just like, where did she train for all this? Because you don't learn to do all of this stuff just being a trained killer.
She's not necessarily an assassin. She's like a street level thug who can fight.
Again.
So where does she get all these skills from?
Right, because it's not like they have those types of trains all in New York. Like where would you even? No. At least I know not in Hell's Kitchen. So yeah, okay, yeah. We're just I'll just suspend my disbelief for that, but
yeah, just do that. Yeah, just go with it.
So she's doing this stuff on the train, and then Biscuits has to come and rescue her to get her off the train before she's caught. And like we said, the train, the hitch on the train that's connecting the two train cars is going back and forth like this. She takes a misstep and gets her prosthetic caught in it. And of course, this thing is like thousands of pounds, so she can't just push it off of her leg. Then all of a sudden, she starts having the visions of her ancestors. Her hands start glowing. She pushes the thing off, and she's looking at her hands like, what the fuck? I was like, okay, so it begins.
Yep.
Here comes her
superpowers.
But interesting.
And then she was able to jump. She was able to jump off a train with a bent prosthetic. I was like,
well, that could have been adrenaline, and that also could have been
adrenaline
if I get caught, my ass is dead.
Adrenaline affects bent metal.
No, and adrenaline affects the rest of her body. And she's like, if I get caught, I'm going to die. So guess what? I'm about to pull something out of my ass and get the fuck off this train.
And superpowers.
Yeah, superpowers.
And superpowers.
She's walking on a bent metal leg. I'm like, and jumping
with
off
superpowers. With superpowers.
Yeah.
Superpowers. Just go with it.
Right.
She has superpowers.
So she does that on the train. And then what we find out is when the train gets to its destination, which is in New York, we see Zane. Zane was in the Hawkeye series, wasn't he?
Who?
I think he was.
I think he was, because I was like, he looks very familiar. I think he was part of the tracksuit mafia, but he was like one of the leaders, so we didn't see a lot of him because they always send their minions to do stuff. But just like in this episode, or the first episode, he told his guys, he was like, hey, we got this munition shipment, y'all open this crate. And him and the other guy walking outside, and then the whole thing blows because she has she has put a bomb in there. Again, where are you learning to make this stuff? Because that was a chemical bomb. It's like, it was pressurized. So when they lifted the top of the bomb was going up, and as it was going up, it was releasing two chemicals into each other, and then once the chemicals mixed, like she blew up warehouse, a whole warehouse, and she blew it up on a train car that came from her uncle's shipping yard in Oklahoma. Like you said, Anthony, how did you think that they were not going to trace that back to you? And even if they didn't trace it back to you, you just put your uncle in danger. To what? Send
because
a message.
they're not gonna ask questions like who did it, blah blah blah. They know it came from here, so somebody has to pay.
Right.
Period.
Right. And that's why he was like, he came in, he was like, okay, so he was asking his people, so are our papers in order? Look, did something get messed with? They were like, no, we followed the same procedures always. And all of the other stops followed all the same procedures. But when they said it was, what was it, D9X, he stopped. He was like, D9X, are you sure? They were like, yeah. And it's like immediately he knew. He was like, oh, this bitch finna get me killed. She finna get me killed. And she was like, I gave you a chance to work with me to take him down. She was like, I'm sending him a message, or I'm sending them a message, because at this point she does not realize that Kingpin is actually still alive. Like, she shot him, she didn't kill him. He's in the hospital with a bandage over his eye. But what was it that she said? Kingpin has been in rule long enough. It's time for a queen. I was like, hold up. How you gonna go from street thug to the queen pin, and you ain't did half the shit this man has done?
That's not how it works.
Right. But you know, she probably was
tell her that.
She thought that she killed him, so she probably thought it was going to be just that easy to take over. But obviously, it's not going to be that easy, because you killed him, but his people are still looking for you. His people are still after you.
Killed him.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we know it's quote unquote killed him, but she didn't know that he wasn't dead at the time.
Yeah. I don't think she really understands like what her father and what the Kingpin did. I don't think she really understands. I think that's what Henry was trying to explain to her. It's like there's more to just being a thug. Like, yeah, the Kingpin may have bullied his way to the top a little bit, but he's very smart. You know, he has a very savvy businessman.
Right.
It's just that if you don't go along with him, he's gonna kill you or beat your ass.
He's gonna take your head off in the door of his SUV. But
and you want to know what? That is actually the last episode I watched. I was like, I was like, oh my god,
that's a hell of a place to stop. That's exactly when they started getting interesting. And you stopped there?
I did, but it wasn't just because that scene was so brutal. I think there was a lot of stuff going on, and I just never went back to it. And then by the time I realized, I was like, wow, that's a lot. So I am planning on catching up and watching all of them, but especially since they're bringing the new show. But like,
because she doesn't know, she's got to know what all the businesses are, who owes him money, like which politicians and what police are. She's got to know. You got to know how the whole operation works. She doesn't.
She don't give a fuck about all that. She's just trying to fuck shit up. She don't give a.
That's what I'm saying. She's gonna be a queen. But the other thing too is gonna follow you.
Right. But the other thing is, she's also got to realize she's got to literally get her hands dirty to be in that position. Like, yeah, you can go and you can shoot people or whatever. But until you can, like you said, Mike, until you can smash somebody's head in your limousine door and walk away like that shit don't bother you, you ain't fit for this. You can't do this
until you're the one walking through the police and taking someone and putting them in your car without them batting an eye, instead of being the one that's being taken from the police. Then you can talk. But you know,
and you ain't been in this business long enough. You ain't been doing this long enough. I mean, granted, I'm impressed with what she did, but you can't come home, tell your family, I don't want nothing to do with y'all. I'm just here on business. Leave me alone. And then you turn around and put them in immediate danger over your bullshit. You know what I'm saying? That's wrong.
Right.
And you see, it came back to bite her in the ass because now Henry's employee has called Fisk's men to let them know, hey, y'all got a bounty on this person. Well, guess what? She came home. I got her here. She gets kidnapped. Her uncle gets kidnapped. And then because Bonnie has found out accidentally that she's home, here she comes looking for Uncle Henry to talk about Maya, and she gets pulled into this stuff too with these three idiots. Okay, let's talk about these idiots real quick. The redneck brigade.
Oh
because
was she watching a YouTube video on how to kidnap somebody?
the Militia Moms channel.
Yeah. The friggin' collard green berets here trying to kidnap somebody.
Okay.
And the video she was watching was the one telling her that when you're holding a hostage, you need to be aware of your surroundings at all times. You got a hostage in the next room who has already shown y'all that she's not going to be an easy hostage. She's already broken out of her bonds. She's already kicked y'all's asses once. And you sitting here watching a YouTube video thinking that's going to help you. I don't even know what happened to her because we didn't see her after Maya whooped her ass in the room. She knocked her out. We didn't see her after that. So can you imagine her surprise when she comes out? Oh girl, what's her name? Grace. She done took off. Vicky is laying bleeding on the table because they shot him in the back, just like Henry told them he would, just like Henry told him they would.
Yep.
Like, you really think they're gonna bring you this money and let you go free? You don't know who you're dealing with. Like, really? It was like, and then when Zane and his men come in from New York, they already walk in like they about to fuck some shit up. You want to keep talking to this dude about the ransom money, the bounty money. Yeah, so if you want to just go get that money, I can tell you where you are. He is ignoring you. That should have been, you ain't reading the room. He's already letting you know he don't give a fuck about you. He don't give a fuck about this money. And you about to die.
Two things could be true. The Kingpin never intended on paying a bounty. Or number two, Zane and his boys said, we're going to keep the money and kill this motherfucker.
But either way it goes, Vicky was not reading the room.
You were a dead man.
And then you keep on, even after he says, I'm so tired of all this yapping, dude, shut up asking about the damn money. And then you want to try to be macho because your girl is like, I thought you were supposed to be in charge, but it sounds like you let him be in charge. And Zane was like, hi, kitty cat. She's looking at him like, I was like, first of all, y'all three hillbilly wannabe militia people. If this dude is sending 25, 30 guys from New York to collect this one person, y'all are way over your head. Just go home, live to tell the tale another day.
Yep, go home, make some chitlins, and just chill the fuck out. You ain't got to do none of this. You don't. This is not for you. It's not for you. This is not for you. And like, I forget what he said. I was trying to look it up. I was trying to remember what the little Australian guy said when he was like, is that he wants us to give it to him. Why don't you give it to him?
Oh, he wants to go out. He wants to go out. Why don't you take him out?
Take him out.
Mm-hmm. Because he was talking about going out. What was it? He was talking about going outside. Oh,
go outside and get the money.
Yeah, go outside to get the money. Oh, so Vicky wants to go out. Take him out. And then you're going to try to back up. Oh, wait. Bruh, it's too late.
It's too late.
He been sniffing skates too much. That shit just went to his head. It's like
too much Lysol in the nostrils.
Yeah. That guy
the waxing of the balls.
Right.
Yeah, wax one too many.
So then,
But
like we said earlier, there comes this fight scene where Maya has actually escaped from her little room where she's being held hostage. She's knocked that one chick out, and she has set a trap for the rest of them. And like one by one, she starts taking them out. Then here comes, she's on the skating rink and she's fighting. And when I say, I was looking at these fights and I was like, again, she is whooping their ass. She is getting her own ass whipped, but she don't have an ounce bruise. She don't have a mark on her. Now,
now she has superpowers.
Okay, because I was gonna say, did she have the vision of them as well, like during that time?
She had the vision right before they kidnapped her. Like they were trying to warn her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
it was too late.
Yeah, because they snuck up on behind her. But I mean, they could have snuck up behind her anyway because she can't really hear them coming up. But because I was mad.
But she has a keen sense of her surroundings. But when she was there walking along the water, she turned around because she could sense somebody was there. And then when she turned back around, that's when she saw the vision and they were trying to warn her. And then they came up behind her. So she has a good sense of, her surroundings, and she can kind of feel things, because even at the end of episode 3, she was kind of like, I guess, sensing things. And then
her superpowers have kicked in. So,
well, I don't even think it's the superpowers, because when she was little and her dad was telling her she's going to have to learn to walk, between two worlds, meaning the world that she inhabits and then the regular world, the hearing world. And she was like, how do I do that? He says, you have to really pay attention. And I've noticed this with other deaf or hard of hearing people, like their senses are heightened in other ways because they have to be able to pay attention and know what's around them without actually being able to hear it. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm hard of hearing, and that's a myth.
But you haven't always been hard of hearing, have you?
Since 2 years old. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm deaf in my left ear.
Okay. So. Yeah. But you still have hearing in one ear. So I would assume that the senses are a little bit different. Like, even though you can't hear in this ear, you can still hear out of your right ear. So it's not like the way we envision it when they turn the sound off in the episode, because when they turn the sound off, that's supposed to be what she is aware of and what she hears. And you notice the only thing she ever hears is her heartbeat. So it's probably similar, but it's very different as well. You know what I'm saying? Because you can at least hear something on that side. She can't hear anything. Yeah. So she has to be
put me in a crowded room, and we can't have shit for conversation.
Really?
Yeah. You'll understand how hard it is sometimes when we go to trivia, how hard it is to hear y'all. You probably notice I ask y'all to repeat things because of all the background noise.
You can't filter
in on the voice that's in front of me.
Okay.
God, how do you survive at cons, dude? Gee.
That's a discussion for another time. but you know why I always, when we have panels, I always try to sit on the left side, right, so y'all can all be on this side so I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Walking around, I have to make sure whoever's talking to me is right here so I can hear them and close.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I can't hear. All I hear is white noise. Because
okay.
So I was trying to be somewhat funny, but yeah, sometimes people say that, say that your other senses sort of get enhanced or whatever. Maybe.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I don't ever feel anyone come up on this side of me if I can't see them. It just doesn't.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. But I would assume she probably, because of
she's probably a little better at it than I am because she's completely deaf.
Yeah. So. And she's a killer, so she kind of has to pay attention.
Yeah.
To her surroundings.
So you're only half as good.
Well, he's not a killer. So he's not looking over his shoulder.
if the air displacement is just right, I can tell if someone's right here. But all of us should be able to do that.
Yeah.
If someone blows in your ear on that side, yeah, but it's like, but that's what I'm gonna do next time. I'm gonna just walk to the other side. I'm just gonna be like, I'm over here, Aunt.
He'll
When you
feel
turn
Okay,
around,
I'm
when you
gonna
turn around
leave
and
that.
punch me, I'll be
I'm
like,
gonna leave
yep,
that
I deserved
right
it.
there. We're gonna move on. Mike will not be blowing in my ear. That's number one. Number two, if he does, might be at the next day of the convention wondering what happened to yesterday. So you just watch yourself, Mike.
I'll just wake up and be like, yeah, I deserve that. Yeah, that's fine. I get it. Okay, but yeah, um, I still want to know how she made that damn sling gun like in like 5 minutes and had a laser sight on it. And I'm just like,
I just want to know where she got
Right.
the laser sight from.
where the fuck did she get a laser sight in a roller rink?
Unless he had like one of those leveler things in there to do
Probably
leveling
so.
to make
Because she
sure
was
the
looking at all the different tools and stuff that he had. And, it could also, I don't know.
Is it
Because
is
I'm
it like a
trying to
skate?
think
Is it
like,
is it a roller skate alignment thing so that you won't be leaning when you're skating and stuff, or like your so the skates don't wobble and like break your ankles when you drive?
to
oh
make sure
no,
the skates are level.
he has a laser tag area in the skating rink. So it could have been from one of the
Ah,
laser
Oh,
okay.
guns or
See,
something like
ah,
that
that.
makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah,
there you
There
go.
we
yeah,
go. There we
yeah.
go.
There
Okay,
you
But
go.
that's
still,
true.
okay.
There, that's fine. But
How
she
much
but she made that shit in 5 minutes, and it
right.
was like good enough to like bruise and knock somebody out.
How long were they in there talking? Because it's not like the skating rink is so big that you got to send 30 men to actually go look for her. If you really wanted to find where she was, all you had to do was like threaten Vic and be like, okay, where is she? Oh, she's in the room, such and such. They didn't have to do a lot. But it's almost like they were drawing it out to give her time to build that. Because again, how do you do that in 5 minutes? How do you do that in 2 minutes? I
She
Yeah.
has she has a she has a particular set of skills that would make Liam Neeson nervous. It's like I her dad obviously did a really good job in training her in all kinds of situations because she knows how to do a lot of shit that we haven't experienced. But then again, there's a lot of people, myself included, that were really not as familiar with her in Hawkeye. Even
Mhm.
though I didn't know that she dealt with Kingpin because I predicted that Kingpin was going to be in
Yes,
that
you
show.
did.
So
Yes, you
you can go
did.
back and watch that, guys. But
Yes, you
anyway,
did.
I digress. But it's like I knew that she dealt with Kingpin and Daredevil, but I never read any of her comics. It's just I
Mhm.
had to research it and figure it out. So I don't know if there's like a training montage in a comic book where he's like showing her how to put stuff together. But I mean, she knew Scully, and Scully is like, but she didn't really know Scully long enough to be a tinkerer like he is,
No, because
unless
she's been gone for 20 years.
right. So it's like she didn't learn it from him. So her dad obviously has someone who. I mean, there is a character called the Tinkerer in the MCU, but I don't think that's the same. I think that's a Spider-Man villain.
Hmm.
If I'm not
But
mistaken.
I mean, well, okay, but
But what I'm saying is she had a wide and varied training from somebody. Like
yeah,
somebody's taught her how to do a whole lot of shit.
but I don't know if I would think that that was her dad. But we were talking earlier about her bond with the Kingpin and how we saw that started early. I don't know if he is that kind of like mechanically inclined to do things, but maybe that could have been something she picked up from him, or maybe if she was with her dad on some of his errands for the Kingpin or some of his meetings, she probably, again, if she's learning by watching and observing and paying attention, she
Hmm.
probably was just watching other people do stuff, and maybe just the same way that
Right.
she picked up martial arts, she was able to pick that up. You know what I'm saying? Because other than that, like, you built a bomb, you built this little thing, the little gun, out of a skate bottom and some spare parts. So it's just
Box of scraps.
Muscle
box.
scraps. Damn. I was just thinking it too. I was like, damn, let me get it.
I didn't even get it out.
That's
But
like what
yeah,
Scully did with the prosthetic leg he built. It was a box of scraps.
okay, so that's the other
Yeah,
thing I
that's
was about
true.
to talk about. What does Scully not have in this
Scully
shop?
has everything.
Because he took a 10-speed bike frame, he took some foam, he like all this stuff to make her a temporary prosthetic leg, and then he rebuilt the other prosthetic leg so that it was enhanced and tricked out and had the little art deco stuff. I was like,
Like
dude, how are
ornate.
you doing this in a pawn shop? But
And
yes,
he put the blade in there, didn't he?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe
Yeah,
so. But
that should
Scully's a
fly
dangerous
too.
man. Maybe he's related to Forge. I don't know.
See, there you go. It's another X-Men tie-in. It'd be funny if he actually turned out to be Forge. Like, hey, what? Oh, whoa, whoa. That'd be fun. That'd be hilarious.
Like, we're Travis Forge. I don't know.
oh Lord.
Anyway, continue. I got it.
Yeah, but so yeah, so after all of this stuff happens at the skating rink, Zane is getting ready to execute both her and Uncle Charlie. And Zane gets a phone call. He was like, yeah, mm-hmm. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I thought, and he hangs up the phone and he kind of does this. He takes a deep breath and he tells his boys, he was like, let's go. And they all leave. And Maya and oh, I said Uncle Charlie, Maya and Uncle Henry, they're looking around like, what the fuck just happened? Because we were literally about to get killed.
No,
And
no, Henry knew. Henry knew
oh,
because
yeah.
afterwards he was like, there's only one person that could make them do that.
And she was like, I
Only
shot
one.
him in the face. He was like, I don't think it took.
Oh yeah.
Because
Like, goddamn.
nobody else has that kind of pull to tell them to just like leave.
Walk away. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
And
that's
then of
true.
course, she goes home later. And while she's sitting there, she's thinking back to her childhood and everything. And then she turns and looks, and there go Wilson fucking Fisk standing on the porch with a band-aid on the eye, and he's just looking at her. I was just like,
It's
hmm.
just a flesh wound. He'll be fine.
No, he was just like I mean, he didn't around her. He doesn't project the same like he projects around everyone else. It's like
Right.
because you can see it if you go back to the final episode of Hawkeye when she went in to talk to him and like reassure him that she was okay, and he was like, Maya, I love you, and then she walked out, and then she turned around to like Great Value Jon Snow and was like, we've lost her. And Jon Snow didn't
You
even
did
look at him.
not
He
call
was
him Great
like,
Value Jon Snow. I forgot about that.
but it's like you saw. But when he was talking to him, it's like he wouldn't even look him in the eye. He was like, "What are we going to do about this?"
Oh yeah, he
And
he
it's like, and he
definitely
was just like,
has
and
a
he
softness for
projected,
her.
and it's like you can see it in this episode where he just walked out. He was like, he really you can see like he actually cares and has genuine affection for her where he's not trying to hurt her or cause her harm. It's like he's just like I just want to talk. I just want I understand you shot me in the face, but I just want to talk.
And
I'm
he
not here to
doesn't
kill
say,
you
that's the thing though. He projects all that without saying a word,
without
but
saying
she's
a
still
word. Yeah.
scared because
Hmm.
I still shot you in the face. And I think she was
I'd
also
be scared too.
she was also looking at him like, how the fuck are you standing here? Because not only did she shoot him in the face, she shot him in the face at point blank range.
From less than 5 feet away.
How in the world are you still standing? Not only
First of
standing,
all,
you're standing on my doorstep.
She must have not have subconsciously really wanted to kill him because why is the hole not in the middle of his forehead?
right, it's in his eye. But
Yeah.
but you got to remember, like in that episode as well, like Kate Bishop shot him in the chest with one or two arrows, and he just went. and and proceed to beat her ass.
This is
So
true.
Kingpin is gonna take like he's not gonna go down easy.
Okay.
So it's like, and I think that's like something in the comics. Like he's tough as fuck. Like
Yeah,
he his
he's
like
mostly muscle.
he's yeah
Okay,
he's
because that's
really
what I was gonna
muscularly
ask.
dense. His muscle density is like really
So he's not
he's really
enhanced
dense.
in any way. He doesn't have any kind of
No,
superpowers. That's
no.
just him.
Yeah, he's born
Well, I
that way.
mean, just his muscularity is probably. I think. I mean, to be that as densely muscled as he is, like that's not natural. Like that's not something you
Um,
can get. That's not something you can get by doing 100 push-ups a day. It's like you
mm,
don't
no,
get that
but
dense.
he's not a super. He's not even. I don't even think he's classified as a superhuman. He's just
Then in that
really just.
case, I would have shot him in the face and I would have hopped on the first plane out of the country.
Yeah, but
There's no
usually, I
way.
mean, you can't blame her because 9.5 times out of 10, when you shoot someone in the face, they die. So it's
I
like,
know, but still, I mean, obviously, if she's grown up around this man, okay, like I said, I don't know a lot about him as far as what's happened with his character in the Daredevil series, but I know this man has been through a lot. And obviously, if she's been around him since she was a child, she would know this. So at some point, I mean, and maybe she thought because she was standing right in his face when she pulled the trigger, she thought that would work. But I just think she should have been a little more informed
yeah,
about what damage or no damage that was going to do.
yeah. I mean, it's just like I said, 9.5 times out of 10, even someone like him, it's like if you shoot him in the head, in the facial area, you think that do a significant enough damage to like get rid of him. But
Mm. Are you looking up his stats, Anthony?
Yes, my handy dandy Marvel
Okay,
encyclopedia.
good. Because yours is right behind you. Mine is way over there. So
Yeah.
mine doesn't exist, so
I'm
proceed.
gonna have to do some deeper research. This isn't as
as detailed as you want it to be.
no.
Hold on, let me look at mine.
Yeah, he's it just says he's mostly solid muscle.
Okay. So mine will probably say something
Same
to that
thing.
effect as well. Let's see. Kingpin, where is he? Mm-hmm. HIJ.
Yeah, he's composed entirely of almost muscle. It's like 9 pounds is only fat.
Okay, yeah, let's
He's like a
see.
sumo wrestler.
Yeah, it doesn't say any. Oh, let's see. Abilities. Known superhuman powers, none. It
Yeah.
does say strength level. The Kingpin possesses the normal human strength of a man of his age, height, and build who engages in intensive regular exercise. The Kingpin is virtually as strong as it is possible for a man of his age, height, and weight to be without having superhuman powers. His great bulk does not consist of fat, but of muscles that have been developed to enormous size, as in a sumo wrestler. The Kingpin
Mhm.
can press approximately 650 pounds.
That's
So, yeah.
peanuts.
And it says,
Right.
as far as his abilities, it says the Kingpin has extraordinary skill in hand to hand combat. His fighting skills and unusual agility for a man of his size compensate for the great difference between his human level of strength and Spider Man's superhuman strength when the two engage in unarmed combat. Okay.
Wait. Say that again. That last part about Spider-Man.
Yeah, it says hold on. I'm looking because I don't have my glasses on. The Kingpin has extraordinary skill in hand-to-hand combat. His fighting skills and unusual agility for a man of his size compensate for the great difference between his human level of strength and Spider-Man's superhuman strength when the two
Yeah.
engage in unarmed combat. And then in parentheses, it says Spider-Man also has inhibitions about using his full strength against an
Okay.
opponent without superhuman powers for fear of killing him or her.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. He has gotten pissed. I think he's gotten pissed off before and almost beat the Kingpin to
No,
Okay,
death
no,
yeah.
he went. The one of my
the one
favorite
time.
Spider-Man comics is when he went into prison, grabbed Kingpin up by his chest meat, not a shirt, grabbed him up by his chest meat, and this is like after he killed Aunt May. He's like, I will shoot webbing in your throat and kill you in 3 seconds if you ever do shit again.
Yeah, I'm sure the editor saw that. Whoever wrote that was like, I think we need to put in parentheses that Peter Parker kind of
Is pulling his
back.
punches.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
to say, oh, he compensates. People don't realize how fast Peter Parker is
Yeah.
and how
fast
Yeah.
and
strong
fucking
he is.
strong.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
for those
Oh,
wondering, that description comes from the official handbook of the Marvel Universe Deluxe Edition, the
quit
omnibus.
showing off your
I
quit
have
showing
the
off your book.
expanded
Stop it.
and updated encyclopedia.
All my
Yeah.
shit comes to my
This
phone. I
this
can't.
was a birthday present from my daughter last year. So yeah. But
This was a
okay.
gift from one of our faithful listeners, Nick.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, shout out to Nick. Nick, where my
Hey,
present? No, I'm
Nick.
just kidding.
Yeah. So
Okay.
so yeah, I was kind of surprised when we saw at the end of the second episode that he was in the hospital. So to see him actually show up at her doorstep, like, no, ex- because aside from the bandage on his face, you really can't tell that anything happened to him. Like you said, he got shot with arrows in the Hawkeye series, and he doesn't seem any worse for wear. So I was just like, oh, it's about to be some danger. And she looks worried because she knows she shot him. But at the same time, like you said, Mike, you do see that when he approaches her or when he starts coming towards her, there is still a look of tenderness on his face. Like, I'm not here to, like, he's really trying to convey to her that he's not there to harm her.
Right.
So these next 3 episodes are going to be interesting because what do you like? How do you have a conversation with the person you tried to kill and it be like you not be worried about him trying to kill you or him trying to maybe punish you by killing your other family? You see, he had no problems taking out her dad. So what's to stop him from
Um,
killing Chula or Uncle Henry or Bonnie?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I love you. I'm not going to kill you, but I don't give a fuck about them. So I'm going to go ahead and take
yeah,
them. And you obviously don't give a fuck about them because you ain't seen them in 20 years. So, you
right.
know,
And also, as far as Kingpin, like how he's healing, is like let's not forget that he's Kingpin and he
he's
has
rich.
access to. Yeah, he's a rich motherfucker. He's a really fucking rich motherfucker, and
Mm-hmm.
he could probably have. You saw that he was hooked up to all kinds of machines and tubes and all kinds of shit. So he probably has access to some shit that, or like he probably has someone try to make him a super soldier serum or some shit like that. But it's like even with that, he's just he's rich enough to basically get whatever he wants or get
Mm-hmm.
the best of the best of the best medical care
Yeah.
that he can get. So it's like he's going to be back, and it's like I I mean it's like when I saw Kingpin after being shocked that he just shows up on her porch. It's like to see the look on his face was just like, damn, dude. It's like they've really like he's for people who haven't seen like the whole all 3 episodes, all 3 seasons of Daredevil. It's like he acts way different in like the episode of Hawkeye that he was in and a few episodes of this show. He acts he's not as ruthless and merciless as he was in Daredevil.
It's
And it's like
almost
a
like
lot of
she
people,
humanizes him a little bit, or
yeah,
not even a
it's
little bit. She humanizes him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
a lot. It's a lot considering what he used to do. Like she's tamed him. She's really gave him given him a soft spot, and it's like because a lot of people were complaining about that, like when they saw him when they saw him in this, they were just like, "Why is he so soft? Why didn't he just make her do? Just take her back?" And it's like that's not their relationship. It's
Mhm.
like you're just gonna have to deal with it. It's like that's not how their relationship works. Their relationship works on you on he has more he has respect for her, so it's like he's not going to do something for her to not respect him. He wants to regain her respect and regain how she used to look at him as her uncle and as someone who she really looked up to,
Yeah.
literally and figuratively. But it's like he really wanted that relationship as opposed to a relationship of giving her a choice as to just taking her. It's like
Like
that's
making
not how
her
they
like she's not one of his minions. She's
right,
not one of his,
exactly.
yeah, one of his yes men. But I know that in the I don't remember if it's in the fourth or the fifth episode, but we do get a little bit more background on, you know, their relationship and exactly what it is. So we'll talk
Mhm.
about that when we discuss the next three episodes. But it is very interesting because again, what knowledge I have of his character, I know that he's always been ruthless. And I mean, not even just this iteration of the character, but just in general. But yeah, she makes him a little bit softer, which I think is interesting given the type of villain that he is. And I think that's probably gonna, I don't know, I don't want to say contribute to his downfall, but I feel like she she probably has a way to distract him in ways that nobody else does. I mean, I know that there was a romantic interest of his in the Daredevil show. I think her name was Vanessa. I do remember the beginning
Yeah,
of it.
Mhm.
Vanessa.
I don't know. I don't know how deep that got and whether or not that became a problem for him. But I could very easily see if he
No,
looks
no,
to
him never.
Maya as like,
Vanessa was a big. Yeah, you're right. Vanessa was just as much of a person in his heart as Echo was. Like
okay,
even more so. Like they were in love. Like
okay.
that was basically that was his wife basically.
Okay.
So
So
yeah.
I can imagine if he's looking at Maya as like a daughter figure or surrogate daughter, then that's probably going to cause some problems. But like, it's going to be interesting to see what he does now that he's there face to face with her, you know, and if he finds out like her design is to take over his business, like what is he going to do? Is he going to punish her for what she's already done and just say, okay, look, I just need to make a statement. Like, I still love you, but we do got to let people know that this is not going to sit. So it's going to be interesting to see how that develops in the next three episodes with them. But, I don't know. Do we have anything else we need to talk about for this episode? It was just,
Um, all I want to say is these first three episodes are really, really well done.
Yeah.
I think the fight choreography is great. There's
Mhm.
enough action to keep me interested. Um,
No
they're
long
well
walks.
written, huh?
No long walks.
no long walks.
Long walks. Um, And I do like the appreciation for the Choctaw Nation and all of the effort and attention to detail they put into getting that stuff right. And I talk about this all the time, between Shang-Chi and Black Panther, whenever they let people in the culture do the culture, it
Mhm.
always works.
Also
All
with the ASL in
yes, and the
this
Yeah.
ASL.
episode, because it's so interesting because I've been taking
Everybody knew sign
ASL.
language.
Yeah, yeah. But it's interesting because I've been taking ASL for the last few weeks. So it's interesting to see them communicate and actually be able to pick up on some of the stuff that they're saying. And sometimes
Mhm.
when you have that kind of representation in shows, or at least I know like in the past, or not just ASL, but languages and stuff. Sometimes you get stuff that's kind of made up because they're like, nobody's really going to be paying attention to this anyway. And I know that they've started coming away from that. Like they're actually putting effort into making sure the languages are accurate, the representation of the cultures is accurate. And so I like seeing that. And kind of going back to what you said at the beginning of this recording, Mike, for all the people who were like, oh, this is more woke bullshit, like, do y'all not realize the large number of deaf and hard of hearing people that there are in this world? And I can't imagine having to sit through all of these shows, and the only way that you can communicate or understand what they're saying is you either have to be proficient at lip reading or you have to have closed captioning. But in this episode or this series, every time she communicates with someone, especially in her family, they're all doing signs. And even if they're not great at it, like the people who are very proficient, you can tell it with their speed. The ones who are not, they might have a little bit more space in between their words and their signs, but it's like the effort is there to make sure, hey, we want to make sure that this is right, that the people who are seeing this can understand it. And I love that about this show. There's so much representation just across the show in general that it's just, I love it. I love it.
I'd like to give a shout out to the cast. I mean, Graham Greene, again, I love this dude. He's like one of my favorite actors, period. Not even just a Native American actor. Like, I love him, like, period. Even, like, I mean, I think this past couple years, with him being the one little part he had in The Last of Us to this, and it's just like, I've had a bigger appreciation for him. The relationship between him and Chula, played by Tantu Cardinal, who's a really good actor. I love a lot of
Love
stuff that
her.
she's in. Yeah, but their relationship, when he starts talking, trying to speak Choctow, she's like, "Shut up! Don't be trying to speak talk me. Go on somewhere." Is
His
funny.
flirting with her was hilarious.
It was awesome. I loved it. I kind of like them. Like, oh, they're getting back together later. Like, apparently. Also, shout out to Devery Jacobs, who plays Bonnie, who also played Cohorty in What If, which we just finished covering. We didn't really see that much of her, like, just like in the Roller Rink episode, but it's like I'm looking forward to seeing more of her. Cody Lightning, shout out to him for being Biscuits and just being just like almost stealing every scene that he was in, like doing a really good job. I liked him. And Chasky Spencer, just like your previews, your title says, the Twilight mini reunion that they've had in the show, and he's definitely part of that. This was these first 3 episodes are very good. I can't wait to talk about the last 2 because it's just that. And oh my god, I can't. This was such a short season. It was only 5 fucking episodes. I'm like, how are you only gonna have 5 episodes? Is it 5 or 6?
Was it 5 or 6?
5.
Oh, okay.
It's 5.
Yeah, but it's like those last 2 episodes are just like shit.
Yeah.
But it's like there's only 5 episodes. I'm like, I need more.
There's a story behind it, really, but we can talk about it after we do the last 2.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that. But going back to what you said, Mike, the mini Twilight reunion in this episode, in this series, is just fun because you have Graham Greene, you have Chasky Spencer, you have Julia Jones, who was Chafa. Matter of fact, she and Chasky Spencer, who is Uncle Henry, they were ex boyfriend and girlfriend in the Twilight series. So that was fun. But the casting for this series has been phenomenal, and I'm looking forward to talking about episodes 4 and 5 because it's only 2 episodes, but my goodness, there was a lot that happened in those episodes. So I'm ready for it.
Yeah, and Tantu was in a show called Stumptown, which was only 1 season, and it's like a crime that was only 1 season. It was really good. It had
she was also in Outlander, which we also cover on this show.
She was
Was
in.
that one of the Portal episodes?
No, she's actually
I'm just saying.
she's one of the Mohawk, I think, in that episode, in those episodes. So yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I think she in Stumptown. Stumptown had Kobe Smothers, who plays Maria Hill, as the main character. It was only went one season, but it was a fucking great show.
okay.
Um, and like she played a character called Sulin Blackbird. I think she was a casino owner, but it's like but her character was like she actually did a really good job with that character.
Okay.
This show, like oh my, like I'm glad I wasn't. I mean, I was not disappointed in this because we were waiting for the show for so long. It just seemed like it took forever to get it,
Yeah,
and I
but
was not
unfortunately,
disappointed.
that's most shows nowadays. So
Yeah, true. I
yeah.
mean, it's like I thought I tuned because like I thought I was watching the wrong show with the intro how they introduced it. I was like, "Fuck, what am I watching?" Like, I
I
had no idea. I was like, "Wait a minute." I
I
had no
loved it
idea.
though. Yeah.
It was great. It's just like it just wasn't what I expected. I was expecting to see Echo like on a motorcycle, like right off. But it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I was expecting to get an origin story. This is actually
Right.
pretty fucking cool.
And it's so interesting because the show is called Echo, but up to this point and also through the Hawkeye series, she's never been referred to that. So it's kind of like, okay, so why do they call it Echo? So I guess we'll find that out in episodes 4 or 5 as well.
Right. Yep. Can't
So,
wait. I can't wait.
okay. Well, I think we've discussed all we need to discuss for episodes 1 through 3. So the second part of this um coverage will cover episodes 4 and 5, and that will come soon. So for now, that's it for what am I trying to say? For now,
We're
that's
getting you're trying to say we're getting ready to skate off. Yes, I put one in there.
so for now, that's it for our show. You can find us online at www.fandomhybrid.com. We're on social media, on all the social media at Fandom Hybrid. You can chat with us on our Discord channel. You can watch our videos on our YouTube channel, and you can listen to us on all major podcast streaming platforms. Thanks for listening. We hope you join the conversation next time.